Welcome to the Sypnotix. I'm Alex.
This is Lida.
And today we are opening Lida's new phone. This is iPhone SE 3rd Gen. Obviously, everybody knows what this phone is by now, but we're going to open it because we got to look at it on this channel, right, Lida? Like, this is the phone we're probably going to recommend basically everybody.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
So you pull that tab. I'll pull this tab.
Wow.
All right. iPhone SE, and as you can see, since it's so thin, we all know by now
there's no charging.
No charging a brick. Okay, so here is the phone. Looks pretty much exactly the same as the iPhone 7, iPhone 8, iPhone SE Gen 2. So let's pull the tab up. Beautiful black color, which we've actually had the iPhone 7 in this color. Do you remember the iPhone 7?
I do.
And then we were going through those reviews back in the early days with all those crazy cases.
It's so thin.
Yep. And we have, of course, our USB-C to Lightning cable, which Apple unfortunately never will retire their Lightning port.
I'm not surprised.
SIM, and that's it. Nothing here. Very simple unboxing. That's the phone.
This is midnight black, by the way. Just plain old black.
So while Lida sets up the phone, let us go over some specs really quickly. This phone, of course, I just said this, has the A15 Bionic chip, which is a huge deal in my opinion. It really is. That's why the iPhone SE is worthy of a purchase, because of that chipset. You're getting flagship performance in that chipset for half the price, almost half the price. This has 4 gigabytes of RAM in it. As for the display, it is of course, a Retina IPS LCD panel. It's a 4.7 inch. It's basically what we've been seeing since the iPhone 7, iPhone 8. It's exactly the same body. Has that 750 by 1334 resolution, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So still has 16 by 9 aspect ratio on here. 326 ppi. So, not the sharpest display out there, but is perfectly acceptable for just about anybody out there. Now, we also have a 64 gigabyte internal storage here. Of course, there's higher options, but the base model, which we have here, and the cheapest one, is 64 gigabytes. You're going to have to do cloud storage for a lot of the stuff. Now, the single camera that we're talking about has a 12 megapixel sensor. It's an f1.8 wide lens. It shoots 4K at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second. So none of that really cool stuff that we've been experiencing with the iPhone 13 Pro, but at least it does have an updated camera. This also has Qi charging, so it has wireless charging, which is a big deal too. A lot of budget phones in this $400 price range doesn't have Qi charging, so Apple actually has that there. That's really good value. No MagSafe though. That's not a iPhone Mini. An iPhone SE. Now there's a Mini and the SE back again, so we got 2 small phones.
That's confusing.
And the last thing I wanted to add is the other big addition, or at least Apple wants you to think it's a big addition, is 5G. So this has 5G capabilities in the US and also internationally wherever you have your phones. So your bands will work in the US for your 5G network. So for those of you who do want 5G, that is now here for a $450 price tag, essentially.
So we have our home menu. We've got our app screen. Really, everything looks the same here.
It is the same. I mean, it's running the current version of iOS, which I actually have here on my iPhone 13 Pro as well. So everything is exactly the same. It has all the widgets, everything that we've grown accustomed to, except we have that little button down there. The Touch ID home button makes its return.
I love the haptic feedback.
Yes, the haptic feedback is something that I kind of miss once you leave that home button. But that home button is kind of cool. And, 3D Touch has kind of disappeared, so that haptic feedback on that home button is something that is noticeable on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, the whole iOS experience, it's the same. It's exactly the same as what you would be paying on iPhones that are twice the price. But otherwise, how does it feel in your hand?
Feels good. I mean, it's a little slippery because there's no case right now, but it's noticeably thinner and smaller, I think. But I am coming from the Pixel 6 right now, so.
Yes, that too. And Lida also spent significant time last year with the iPhone 12 mini
Yep.
in her pocket. So yes, it'll be interesting for you to go from the mini to this as your last iPhone. I've been using, once again, the 13 Pro, so the size is, I'm accustomed to it. And I don't think this is too big of a phone. I actually really like the iPhone 13 Pro. It's one of my favorite phones of last year. And if you look at the size difference, it is significantly smaller.
Yep. I will have a full review of this phone coming very soon.
Very soon. But as of right now, full unboxing, you know, I do think this is going to be a killer deal. We don't have stuff like this in the Android space anymore. There was a time where OnePlus was the king. Flagship killers. You had the Axons. You had all these great phones that give you almost flagship performance for half the price. Android space has really, that range has disappeared in price. Now, ironically, it's Apple who's giving us that.
Yeah.
You're getting the flagship processor, the highest end Apple processor in a $400 something phone. That's amazing from Apple. I can't believe I've been saying that. And that's why I was so excited about the Apple iPhone SE 2. And now, with the sudden upgrade for the 3, very exciting stuff here. I do think this is going to be the phone we're going to be recommending at the end of the year for anybody looking for a phone. Once again, I'm Alex. That's Lida.
We will see you guys next time. Bye!
The only thing better than a Tesla stock is subscribing. Are these cute to use?